With Terraria 1.4.4 introducing all kinds of balance changes to weapons throughout the game, it surprises me that only a few popular weapons like the Terra Blade are being talked about lately, despite a whole host of more obscure weapons receiving major changes in the update. Today, I'm going to show you 5 weapon buffs you may not know about, which I think have totally redefined a weapon and made it substantially more powerful or accessible. Let us jump into it. Starting with the Starfury. Although some would say this weapon was already incredibly powerful and a lifesaver for early pre-hard mode melee players, it did receive a very nice buff in the update. Not only did the stars summoned fall 25% faster, but the stars will now reliably fall through blocks before precisely reaching the player's cursor. This is just amazing, and has finally removed the only weakness this weapon had, which was its poor performance underground. But with this version, I'd easily say it's now kind of busted for when you can obtain it in the game, giving you complete safety from anything underground. These changes also make it generally a better boss weapon too, as it's much easier to hit a fast moving target like the Eye of Cthulhu, and the stars don't constantly hit the platforms instead of the eye. Overall, I'm delighted to see these changes made to the Starfury, and has once again made it one of the best early pre-hard mode weapons in the game. Next up, we have the Pole Spur. Now this one has been shaken up big time, now being sold by the travelling merchant after defeating the 3 mech bosses instead of post-spawn terra, and the price we have to pay for this is tiny, only receiving a small damage nerf from 85 to 80. This means that the performance of the Pole Spur is pretty much as good as ever, and now being obtained before Plethora makes it one of the very best bows for its tier. As per usual, the Pole Spur is fantastic on groups of enemies due to its ability to pierce and ricochet, making its projectiles continue to deal damage long after it's been fired. Overall, this buff has simply made an already powerful weapon be obtainable even earlier. Definitely worth picking up now. Next up, we have the Bubblegun. This one's a bit of an odd one, as previously people seem to be quite torn on this weapon. You either loved it or never used it in your life, and for me, I never used it as the short range always put me off. However, the buffs it's received in the update have not only increased the projectile speed and distance from 11 to 15, but also made the bubbles linger for twice as long before popping. This is a huge buff, and has now made this weapon more on par with the other Duke drops. With the bubbles lasting longer, this thing can absolutely destroy bosses like Golem and creates a great deal of safety around the player from regular enemies. This buff is just lovely to see, and might influence a lot more players to use this weapon who previously ignored it. Next, we have the Aqua Scepter. This buff completely caught me off guard, as I always believed the Aqua Scepter was massively underrated anyway and already packed a punch or post Skeletron. But I can't really complain, as this buff is a big one, increasing its damage from 16 to 27. That's nearly a 60% increase. Not only that, but it also received a massive increase to its range, making it literally go off the screen now. So, for you mages out there looking for the perfect crowd control weapon in pre-hard mode, well, here it is. Its infinite piercing synergizes perfectly with its range up too, making it capable of some insanely high DPS numbers for pre-hard mode. Next time you're in your dungeon, you need to try this thing out for yourself. And finally, we're going to be looking at the one and only banannarang. And wow, what can I say about this buff? The banannarang was already debatably one of the best early hard mode melee weapons in the game, which I explored in one of my old videos, but always suffered from being incredibly difficult to obtain because of its low drop rate from clowns. But now in the 1.4.4 update, not only do you only need 1 to get all 10, but it only has a 10% chance of dropping. Insane. To compensate, the damage has been reduced slightly from 55 to 45. However, I think that's a fair trade, as before, hardly anyone was able to obtain all 10 to even reach the maximum damage, whereas this thing comes maxed out off the bat. And with this, that's all the buffs I wanted to talk about today. I hope this video has shone some light on some of the more forgotten weapon changes in the update and given you a handful to try out in your next playthrough. Thanks for watching. For more Terraria content like this, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.